Yeah, so Shalom again. So this is the Equal Opportunity Act under the religious religion part 2026, right? Because earlier I was speaking about I was looking to sorry I look into um the laws of based off of the religious belief and so on. So it says the Equal Opportunity Act, Chapter 2203 in Trinidad and Tobago legally protects citizens from religious discrimination and victimization. It applies to both public and private sector across four main areas: employment, education, provision of goods and services, and accommodation. Right. So the core protection under the Act: freedom from discrimination. So it's illegal for an employer, school landlord, or service provider to treat you less favorably or deny any opportunities because of your religious beliefs, practices, or observances. Reasonable accommodation. Employers and institutions are expected to make reasonable accommodation for an individual's religious practices, such as allowing time for Sabbath observances, or adjusting dress code or religious apparel, providing it does not cause undue hardship to the organization. Right? So let me see what I mean by this in particular. Right? Let's see what I mean by this. Right? We go to chat GPT right here. So you can get this clear. Right? So it says here, right? So our examiner says that statement is generally correct and reflects how religious freedom protection works in many countries, including Trinidad and Tobago. The key idea is called reasonable accommodation. Employers, schools, and institutions are often expected to make practical adjustments for sincerely held religious belief unless doing, a, doing so creates an undue hardship, meaning serious difficulties, safety issues, major costs, or disruption to the operation. Example can include allowing time off or schedule change for Sabbath observation, permitting head covering, hijab, turban, veil, and modest dress, adjusting uniform policies for religious reasons, allow prayer break. Well, these is extreme, not these, but allowing the prayer break, you could do that on your own time and at lunchtime. Expecting dietary restriction in institution, you could do that on your own. But the right is not unlimited. An employer can sometimes refuse if the accommodation creates safety risks, preventing the employee from doing essential duties, cause major operational problems, violates health regulation or security equipment. Now, a woman wearing a head covering for religious reason is usually protected. But if loose clothing creates a serious machinery hazard in a factory setting, the employer may require a safe alternative. In Trinidad and Tobago, protection can arise through the Constitution, freedom of religion, employment and anti-discrimination practices, human rights, and industrial relations processes. Courts generally try to balance the individual religious freedom and employers' legitimate operational needs. So the important phrase is not the employer must always allow it, but rather the employer should reasonably select. Yeah, yeah, my daughter was waking up there. Right? The employer should reasonably accommodate it unless there is genuine undue hardship. So there we go. Right? There we go. So as an individual has who into this truth, you women are speaking about, right now the light is upon you women right now. You know, um you have no reason not to cover your hair, you have no reason, right? Because we are under the Act 2203, right? Unless it's something hazardous on where you're working. And mind you, your clothes don't have to be loose and it don't have to be tight. Right? You can make your hijab don't have to be long or your hair covering don't have to be long. Alright? You don't have to wear pants because you understand, you have rights. You have rights. You see, and even if you as it have a lot of how you can put it, ways that we could get things done, you know, based off our beliefs, our belief system, and hair covering, that is something simple. That is not nothing that a woman should not want to do in this truth, right? Or make excuse that they shouldn't do it, that the place too hot and the wearing them long thing, the place too hot. And as this brother here, keep thy foot. You understand? There's some serious time we live in. I know, hey, GMS in Rome, lions on fire. This is a video you mentioned taking. Keep thy foot. Keep thy foot. So let me get that scripture and close off. First Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 4. It says, every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she was shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. Right? Look up the word shorn. It says to be shear or sheeped, to get or let be shorn, shearing or cutting short. The cutting short the hair of the head. Right? So if you don't want a hair, or you don't want to cover your hair, cut off your hair. Right? But if it be a shame for the woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered, right? Because the woman is the glory of the man, right? So the man prize is supposed to be covered, right? You're a gift unto a man, and a gift supposed to be wrapped, covered, right? It says, for a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of Yahweh, or of power, but the woman is the glory of the man, right? So don't let these things jump over your head. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. Right? Read over. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. That is a covering in sign that she is under the power of her husband. Simple, right? Is assurance to show that hey, she under the order of her husband. So this is why a woman supposed to have the head. The woman head is the power, right? So you cover, you keep that hair cover, right? Only your husband really supposed to be seeing that. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, right? Neither the woman without the man in Yahweh. Um, for as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman. But all things are of Yahweh. So now we're going on here now. Judging yourself. Is it commonly that a woman pray unto power uncovered? Do it not even nature itself teaches you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him, right? Because that goes back to a femininity, right? When you go into the comments in commentary, it shows you that back then, a man having long hair was a form of mistaken identity, right? Women are the ones who supposed to have the hair long, right? Absalom used to pull his hair, is he? I think the scripture says suffer not thy locks to go long or kind of thing so, you know. It says, but if any man seem to be contentious, this is what I read before. If any man seem to be contentious, we have no such customs, neither the churches of power. No, in this that I declare unto you, I praise you not that ye come together not for the better, but for the worse. Right, so that is basically it. And as we read before in verse 16 here, the contention with you know, this guy brought up and was doing the works. He read the scripture here. He said have no such customs. The reason why Apostle Paul said have no such customs because the contention going back and forth stating that they were supposed to, a woman is supposed to have the bound to cover the head. They say, hey, let's brush it off like that. We don't have that such customs in the churches, right? And that is why it had two book of Corinthians because the nation of Israel, right? In Corinth, they was stiff neck. They was stiff neck. So hopefully this video was edifying. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, double honors be unto the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Salutation and blessing to the brethren pushing this word in sincerity and in all truth, and to the women, shalom to you.